Hi everyone. Thank you for this time for joining our webinar session on TAFE Queensland. We are happy to have Emma with us, who will be giving the sharing on the TAFE Queensland to help you to refresh your memories and also the selling points on TAFE Queensland courses. So I believe that there are Indonesian, some from Nepal, Malaysia, and also other countries like Vietnam. So perhaps, Emma, you can help to give a general guide on the courses, and then towards the end, we will have around 15 minutes or 10 minutes Q&A so everyone can ask questions. So now I will pass over the time to you, Emma.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Hello, everyone. I'm Emma from TAFE Queensland. Very nice to talk to you guys about our institute online. And today I will give you a brief introduction about TAFE Queensland, also our popular programs and what was the admissions process will be. So let's start from the very basic one. What is TAFE Queensland? So TAFE Queensland is the only government-owned TAFE in Queensland state. So we have a very long history and we have over 125,000 students annually, which includes 4,000 to 5,000 international students every year. And we have over 20 campuses across the whole Queensland state. So in Queensland, oops, let me see, sorry, silly me. So we have the campuses located in different cities as shown on this PowerPoint slide. And as you probably know that in Queensland, we have a large so-called regional areas. So the only place is not a regional area is Brisbane. So these few locations are not regional and the rest are all regional areas, which means students have a variety of options when they decide to study with us. Okay, so we have the following study areas for students to choose from. And later on, I will use our price list as an example to introduce some of the popular programs to you. And if you have any questions regarding other programs, feel free to ask me. And next, I'm going to show you a few photos of our different campuses. So let me see. So we have a different, like in Brisbane, this one is Brisbane, and then we have a Gold Coast Southport, Gold Coast Coomera, Cairns. This is Acacia Ridge. This is our Coventry facilities, and then another building. And then we have all different practical training workshops on campus for students to do their practical trainings with us. Next. So that's like childcare, automotive, engineering, welding, cookery, dental technology. And then we have the Coventry, and this one is Coventry as well. And then there's some childcare. So there are some useful links for you guys to follow if you have any, you want to get some basic information about our programs. So the most important link I think for everyone is this price list. So I will show you later on with the price list, which listed all the programs for our international students. And the course guide, we have like an overview of each area or different programs and also job outcome for students. And also we have a pathway to universities for students as a reference. And all of this, I will give you a quick intro later. And how to apply different processes, including the document preparation, academic requirements, and English requirements. And this is a PDF of all the English tests that we accept in TAFE. So I'll start with some entry requirements at TAFE. So in TAFE, we have certificate 3 as the lowest level for international students, up to diploma and above. So we have one bachelor degree, one associate degree for international students here. So I use a diploma as diploma and above here. And we have, as you can see, a few criteria for international students. Currently, we can only accept the students age 18 and above. So we don't accept under 18 student. If such student is under 18, they need to have like a parents or legal custodies or their relatives in Australia to look after the students, and their age must be over 21 years old. And then for all our programs, we only accept 18 and above. And for different levels program, we may have different academic requirements. So for all certificates 3 program, we accept a student who complete year 10 or year 12. And so for and diploma and are not available to those students, except a certificate for in commercial cookery and certificate for in adult tertiary preparation. These 2 programs on the 4 level, but we do accept year 10 or year 11 students. And then if student finish year 12, they can apply all programs here. For the English requirements, I will show you later on with our English equivalencies table, so you can have a better understanding. So majority of the program, our requirement is academic IELTS 5.5, no individual band less than 5. That's some examples on our website, like I'll show you later on. We will list all the requirements for the like the English and the academic. So let me see, sorry, I'll show you this one. Like I mentioned before, the most important list that you may want to get familiar with is our price list. So the price list lists all the programs we offer to international students. So we do have a website where students can search different courses, but price list is the one that's for international students only. So if you see some programs not listed on this list, but show up on our website, that means they are not available to international. So you always refer to this list, and we keep updating it as anything changes. So currently we have, like I mentioned before, we have certificates 3, 4, and diploma and above programs. Usually I would divide them into 2 parts. One is the, we call trades area, so technical trainings for international students. And there are a few very popular options for them. So I'll give you, have a look here. And also I'll give you an example how to read this this price list. So for example, we have certificate 3 in cabinet making and so 3 in carpentry. So these 2 programs all belong to the building and instruction program. And here is the price for the whole program. So it's not per year, it's a total price. And the location-wise, student can choose different area to study, like I showed you before on the presentation. So student can choose to study, this is the area, this like the district, and this is the city name. So student, for example, the cabinet making program, student can choose study on the Gold Coast or in Brisbane. And the study period is the duration of the course. So this program, for example, is a 2-year program. So every year we have 2 semesters. So 2-year program will equal to like 4 semesters. And for the tuition fee, we charge per semester, which means this amount divided by 4. That's the price per semester. And start of study is our intake date. So for a lot of program, we have like 2 intakes per year. So usually it's like mid-July and end of January or early Feb. But when you apply, you can have a look if we have program like not available or full, we will list it here as well. Like I said, for the trades program, this one is the first like popular study area. And carpenter is for students to learn how to build a house, like I showed you the photo before. And cabinet making is to make furnitures. So carpentry is quite like physical work for student, and cabinet making is a bit light, like physical for international student. So this is one, and then I'll show you the next one. Next popular program will be our commercial cookery and diploma of hospitality management. So if you see in the press list, there are two programs in one cell. That means it is a package offer. So package program, sorry, means students have to study both programs to be able to get the qualification listed. So for this program, let's have a look at the commercial cookery first. The commercial cookery total duration fee is 22,500, and it's available at all these locations. And the duration is 1 year, 6 months. So we separate the duration here. That means students can get one qualification after like 1 year and 6 months, and then get the diploma after another 6 months study. And duration wise, sorry, the start date will be the same. So in this package program, student will study certificate for first, and then continue with diploma program. So this is another very popular technical training area we have. Mm, next one. Next area is so we call trades area. So in this area, we have two main streams. One is the automotive area. So for automotive area, we have listed a few programs that student can choose from. So also we have like student can choose a specific area. For example, the first one is electrical technology or heavy vehicle or light vehicle. So this program is available on the Gold Coast as well, which is a very popular study destination in Queensland since they become the regional area. And then we have the package offer certificate 3 plus certificate 4. So for international students, they can choose, usually they choose the 2-year program, as you may know. And these two are the package one, which are very popular at the moment. And then we have the other stream, which is the marine craft construction program. So this is a certificate 3 program. After student study, they can become like the occupation will be a boat builder. So they can learn how to make the super yachts, like the kitchen and the outside as well. It's a 2-year program. Because of the popularity, it's already full for the next intake. So anyone want to study, I would encourage them to apply for the January intake next year as soon as possible. So that's 4 main technical training area we have for our programs. And this list I will share with Kathy so she can distribute with you guys later. And the other programs I would like to mention is we have a lot of different diploma area for students to study. So currently, like we have a lot of diploma level programs. So including the creative area, and then we have a normal business study. So for business, it's quite good because it's a 1-year program, and student after 1 year study, they can get 2 qualifications, and it's available at multiple locations. And they also have a university pathway, which I will talk a bit more later. So the other popular one will be early childhood. Our early childhood have 2 qualifications that student can choose from. One is the certificate 3 level, one is diploma, or student can choose the combination of the 3 and diploma. So 3 is a 1-year program, and the total tuition fee is 6,200. So which means student pay 3,100 per semester. And this is our cheapest program so far. And also the diploma is 1 year, 6 months. If it's a combination, it will make it like a 2-year program. So early childhood is another very popular area. And then we have the hospitality I mentioned before here. So we have a few like study qualification in health area. One is the dental technology, which is a 2-year program. They are very practical programs for international students. And then a lot of students would start to choose the community services, which they can later on study the Bachelor of Social Work or the Diploma of Nursing. The only thing is Diploma of Nursing requires students to have IELTS 7 on all bands. Otherwise, they are not eligible to study. And this is the program that we don't have English pathway for international students, which means they must show their IELTS results before we accept the students. And what else? And we have the information technology area for students to choose from. So this area we have like a hardware and software design as well. So student can choose like based on what their interests are. So we have a certificate 3 program for international students. Like I mentioned before, this program can be applied by students who complete equivalent to year 10 or year 11, or student if they want to study diploma level course, they can choose this one. So if they finish high school, or if the student can choose the combination. So this one is like a networking, set up the network in the office. So it's a bit hardware oriented. And then we have the database software and website design. So these are all like different streams in the IT area which student can apply. So we do have a lot of programs. So I guess I won't introduce every single one of them. I just listed a few of the popular ones that you can choose from. And if your student have any inquiries, just feel free to send us an email. We're happy to answer any questions you have if later on. Okay, let me see. Before I mentioned, we have some useful study. So for student, we have the academic requirement is IELTS, and we have like, I mean, each program had their own entry requirements. If you want to have a look at exact program what student can study, you can go to our website or just put the keywords in, and when they show up all the lists, and remember to tick international. Otherwise, there will be thousands of programs that not available to international shows up. I'll take a Cookery as an example. So for our Cookery program, when you open the page, I'll show you like this. At the beginning, they will give you some job outcomes. So what student can become after they study the program. So majority of the student would after like to become a chef. And then we have international prizes. If the student want to learn what exactly can they study in this program, we have listed all the units student can choose from. So here are the list of all the programs, units student can choose from, but student don't have to worry about like whether it's core or elective because we all pre-selected for the students. All student need to do is follow the instruction and complete all the units per semester. And if the student would like to know like the detail of each unit, they can click on this one. It will give you some like basic description about what you can study here. All right, continue here. And if you just keep scrolling down the pages, you'll see here the selection criteria. And this selection criteria is for international students. You can see what's the English requirement, what's the academic requirement. So for majority of the students, they may may be interested in the English, because not everyone can have IELTS 5.5 as a start. In this case, we have a few options for international students. The first one is international student can choose to study our English program. So for English program, we have a general English, IELTS preparation, English for academic purpose, and Cambridge English. So for general English and IELTS English, this can start any Monday, which means there's a flexibility for students to apply these two. And the EAP and the Cambridge, they only have a set start. Price-wise, I can share this with Kathy as well, so you don't have to take notes. General English EAP, if students study less than 12 weeks, it will be $270 per week. And if they study more than 12 weeks, it will be $250 per week. So EAP and Cambridge, they are set price, so $270 per week. So this one, you can have a look later. If the student only apply English program, they'll need to pay the enrollment fee, $150. And every 12 weeks, they will be charged for $110 material fee. So that's the English price for international students. So for our English program, we have 3 locations available for international students, and the class start in the morning, like 8 o'clock. And different locations have different start and finish dates and time, so student can refer to this timetable. And for our English pathway, it's set up like this. So for general English, including like 5 different levels. So for students, for example, they may start with IELTS 4.5. They may stay at elementary. So each level has 12 weeks study. So after 12 weeks, a student can progress to the next level. Teacher will promote them to the next level. And then we have a pre-test for intermediate upper inter students to do our academic. So students can choose EAP or IELTS or Cambridge to be able to meet our English requirements for the vocational program. So we do have an English timetable for international students. This may give you a better picture about our English program. So for every Monday, we have general English and IELTS preparation, they can start. And then there are like 24 weeks for every half year for English student to choose from. And then we have EAP, Cambridge, they have a different set start date. So if student miss the intake for EAP in March, they have to wait to choose June intake, or they have to choose Cambridge or IELTS courses. This is also what we use for international students who may want to study with us for English program, but they don't have a IELTS test before. We usually give student like a placement test student can use. Let me see what I got. Yeah. So we have a placement test here for international students. There are a few questions on this one. So all students need to do is to answer the answer sheet and plus do writing. And then we can provide the recommendation on number of weeks students need to study. So when, as a consultant, you help student, you can calculate, for example, we said 20 weeks, and you can say, okay, student need to study from which day till which day for English, and then link up to this one for the formal program. For example, the formal program starts in July, and then you can have a look here. So before the program starts, how many weeks English student can study. And then we have a English equivalency table. So this table lists all the formal English tests we can accept in TAFE Queensland. So as you may see here, we have an overall and also like an individual. So this one is for majority of our program, the result. So that's the test we can do. for international students. And this program here is actually an English test, which is only available at Southbank Brisbane. So this test is our own TAFE Queensland formal English test for students to meet our English requirement. But this test cannot be used to apply as a support evidence for English for visa purpose. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Mention this one. Then placement test, and as I mentioned before, this is a formal test and this is a placement test. This test is for students who want to study English with us, and this test is for students who want to get a formal result and then continue their diploma study. Also, not every student wants to study English with us, so they can choose from all our English partners. So all these English partners, if they study up to IELTS or EAP for a certain period of time, we can use we can accept their English study for our formal program. And like I mentioned briefly before, we have a university pathway, which means students can finish our diploma or higher qualification and then continue their study with universities. So these are the list of universities that we have an agreement with, so students can get up to 1 year credit. I'll give you a example. For example, the students study Diploma of Hospitality with us. Oh, sorry. And then they can continue at Griffith University for Bachelor of International Tourism and Hotel Management for another 2 years, which means students still study for 3 years, but they can get 2 qualifications. And what's the benefits for this pathway compared to university's own, diploma or foundation courses to their bachelor degree? First is we have practical training. So 50% of our programs are practical training. So students will learn how to do things rather than just learning theory and write assignments. For example, hospitality program for the first semester will teach students how to make coffee, mocktail, cocktail, how to serve customers. And we also have a restaurant available on campus where students can do their practical training. Second, our university pathway, the benefits is small classes. So unlike university, the big lecture hall, our classes are very small, depends on which area they study. Usually it's less than 20 people. Like Cookery is 14 people per class. And then it's job focused, and because we teach a lot of practical skills, so that's easy for international students to find a part-time job in Australia, or later on when they study for their bachelor degree, they can use this TAFE Queensland qualification as a Australian recognized qualification to find the jobs in their study area. And the next one is like if you study, like I showed you before, 3 years, but you get 2 qualifications. Also, you save a lot of tuition fee because I'll show you. So for hospitality program, standalone course is 15,400. That's for the whole diploma. And then students continue their study with 2 year in bachelor. So which means students only spend 15,400 plus around 60,000, and then they can finish 1 bachelor degree. So compared to if students straight into bachelor, if they study 3-year bachelor, they probably need to pay around 90,000. That's the average price now in Australia. So they save a lot of tuition fee, and then they get 1 year credit. For this one, we do have a list. Let me see. So this is our pathway and degree guides for international and domestic students. So here, I'll show you briefly. because it's for domestic and international, so it has more courses as the price list shown before. So in this case, you will need to refer to the price list, as I mentioned before. First, say, okay, this one available to international, and then come back to have a look whether they can continue their study. Give you an example. For example, my student want to study early childhood education and care. So I have a look at this list. Okay, there's a diploma, so it's available to international. And then come back here. Oh, okay, there's a diploma courses, and these are the university student can study, choose from, and these are the majors they can choose in uni. And this is the roughly total tuition between TAFE and university. So student you can say get up to 1 year credits for the program.
Hi, Emma. We have a question.
Yeah,
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 is it the same location for Brisbane campus and Queensland campus? Is the job opportunity
yeah,
available in Queensland?
yes. So for I guess it depends on the study area. For example, like diploma, we offer to all these areas, mainly because there is like a employment possibilities for students. That's why we deliver this program in those areas. So maybe they don't have many, childcare center at home, but compared to Brisbane, but students still have opportunity. Does that answer your question? Hello? Mhm. So what I mean is, there is job opportunity, like even during student study with us, for example, the early childhood, every semester we will give students vocational training. We will put students, arrange the vocational training in childcare center for students, so they can go to industry every semester to learn what's like being a staff in childcare center, what it's like.
Okay, thank you, Emma. Perhaps if any of you have question, you can unmute yourself as well. Thank you.
Yes, that would be great. Um, I'll just continue. If you have any question, just stop me anytime if you want to. So that's the basic information about our program. And next I'm going to move on to the next part is about the admission side. So for you apply our courses, we all use StudyLink, as you may know. And then when you supply the supporting documents, we do require certified copies. And if the copies, the documents is not in English, please do translate into English and with your company stamp to verify the documents as well. And then some of the students may have a bit complicated study history in the past, and we may ask students to provide a so-called statement of purpose to explain why you are genuine students, and we'll give you a list of dozen criteria that you can refer to, so you can answer why do you want to study. So this is for students, for example, who finish a bachelor degree in your home country and now you want to study a diploma courses. We possibly would ask why you choose this pathway. What is your return on investment? What's your job outcome, etc. So admissions will have look at all these criteria, which I listed at the beginning of this PowerPoint as the useful link. You can have a look. And we do help students to buy insurance as well, which you can choose during the application process. And we will include this in the offer letter as a payment as well. There are some key dates for we to refer when we submit the application. So there are two parts. One is for onshore student, means living in Australia with a current visa. Offshore means live outside Australia. There's no doesn't hold a visa. And each semester for onshore students and offshore students, we have different like a deadline. So that means students need to apply before this date. Otherwise, we probably won't process the application for students. So that's 2 semesters each deadline for international student. Yes, that's bring me to the end of my presentation. Let me see. Basically cover all the info here. Do you have any questions that I can help?
Yeah, now we open for questions. If you have any questions, feel free to either type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself to ask some questions.
Sorry, chat box, is it this one? Ah, sorry, didn't see. Same location. Is it same location? Yeah, I think I probably answered this question. Same location. So I guess to make it clear, here is the location for each program. Because we are in Queensland, let me see, to the very beginning, like I show you the map. Sorry, here. So you can see here we have a different location, right? Brisbane is one of the location we deliver our programs, and each program have different locations available. So when your student apply, you may want to double check with them, where do you want to study? Because each city may have different opportunities and for future like a study plan. Like if they choose different universities, they may want to study at different areas so they are close to the university further on. Yeah. I hope this answered the first question. Um, any other questions you have here? If not, Kathy, I think that's bring me to the end of the presentation.
Yeah, I think there is no question. Okay, there's one question. Okay, sure. So we will send the PowerPoint recording to each one of you via the group chat. Whichever region you are in, we will send it to you. Yeah. And also the study material, all the English courses mentioned, we will also send it to you. Yeah, thanks, Emma. I think that's all. We end early today. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there's one more question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Doesn't need still sub. Doesn't need. So if the student want to study English with us, you can submit the IELTS result, and then we can give you a recommendation, like the number of weeks student can study with us based on this IELTS requirement. Otherwise, if the student meet other criteria, we probably give you a conditional offer. Say student need to provide the IELTS result, which need to meet our English requirements. Does that answer your question, Brenda? Scholarship, okay, thank you. Okay, scholarship, that's a very good question. So I will show you. So for scholarship, currently we have one scholarship available to international students, which is Destination Australia. So this is for students who want to study at the regional area, as I mentioned before. So there's up to 15,000 scholarship for students, and students can choose from the following location. And each scholarship, each location, they will tell you which program student can apply. So I don't know. Kathy, I'm not sure whether I sent you this one before. If you want, I can send this one as well.
Yeah, please send it to us. The link maybe?
Yeah, I'll send you the link, no problem. So if student want to start apply this scholarship, they need to meet all the entry requirements, like mentioned here. And plus they have to have a statement say why do they want to get this scholarship to be able to apply. Yeah. Okay, any other question? I hope that answers your question. All right, seems no question now. Just feel free to contact me or Kathy if you have questions in box after study so free. Okay, yeah. So I see. The question is the box. If there are two courses in the box, yes, student need to study both program. But for the programs here, as you can see, they have separate courses too, which means student can study either certificate 3 or diploma or the combination. They can choose whichever they want. But just remember, keep in mind, diploma is for students who complete year 12 or above. Certificate 3 have a lower entry requirement. So maybe some students, they have to choose the package offer because they don't meet the academic requirements, which is the year 12 completion. Does that answer your question, Chris? Okay, all right, thank you. I think that's probably bring us to the end now. No more questions, Kathy.
Yeah, I think we'll just end here and we'll send the materials to everyone. Thank you, Emma, for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to talking to you today. See ya.